Welcome to Coding After Work, the Valentine stream.
And we're starting a little bit early because we had so much fun in the chat room or the green room.
Green room?
Green room? Is
Yeah,
this
the
green
invisible room.
This is the green room?
This is the green room.
All right.
The other green room. The virtual green room?
No.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's possible to buy a green room for a StreamYard as well. If you bump up just a notch.
There you go.
But let's just bring in our guests.
Yes. Look at this lineup.
I'm in the green room too.
Yeah.
You're in the green room too? There you go.
Here, let me step out.
It kind of grows on you, doesn't it? The green is hideous in the beginning, but then, hey,
yeah,
it's
give it
nice.
3-4 months and then it's fine.
It grows on you like a fungus.
I remember in the early days, Jeffy, you had the pop-up green screen with the plastic frame, and you have to remember how to fold it to put it back in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And he said to me, it's like, eventually you get so used to this, you can just do it. See, whoop. And then, first year of the pandemic, I had to watch the video every time.
Yes.
And then one day, whoop. And I'm like, I have reached Fritz level. I'm there now.
We couldn't even bother, so we just painted our walls.
Paint the wall.
Yeah.
Is Sara going to show her boot yet or not?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time, right?
Right in.
So there will be a boot count
I'm keeping a boot
during
count.
the stream.
I'm trying to think if I can show mine. Wait.
Have you both got a boot? Oh,
She's just wearing one in solidarity.
there you
Just
go.
an Ugg
One
boot.
boot.
Mine's just an Ugg boot, but I'm short and my camera is higher, so it's hard to get it up my leg up that high.
Well, I have some boots too.
Yeah.
I really like the black and white one, Jeff. I think when this boot comes off, or maybe, so usually I wear heels because I'm super short, and this one has just a little bit of a heel to it, so I might be able to get away with it. Either that or I'll be like walking around kind of like on.
Always turning left.
Right,
Yeah. Going in circles.
exactly.
So just before we started the stream, Richard started telling a story.
Which had
Oh, no.
raccoons.
The raccoon
It was
story.
something. I heard something. Best raccoon something.
Yeah, best raccoon story ever that I've ever heard of. Although, and I'd have to find like the original police report on it. But a summary of it is actually apparently a military officer who has a bad drinking habit, and so ultimately the court has required his car to have the breathalyzer attached to it, so he has to blow before he's allowed to drive. So if he's been drinking, he won't be able to drive. And so, having gotten drunk and now can't drive the car, finds a raccoon in a dumpster, brings the raccoon to the breathalyzer and squeezes the raccoon's breath into the breathalyzer, successfully starting the car,
No.
but renders
No.
the raccoon unconscious in the process because he squeezed him that hard. And being drunk, then tosses the raccoon on the floorboards and begins to drive. Eventually, the raccoon recovers and then persuades the driver that he should not have done that. So the police report actually ends with car found crashed into the side of a house with a man with many wounds on his face and chest and arms from a very upset raccoon.
Oh my gosh. I would be upset as well.
It's a raccoon, not bagpipes.
Yeah.
Wasn't going
Here
for
the
a deep
raccoon
laugh.
was just rambling through someone's dirty...
It was a trash panda.
was
It was
good.
doing trash panda
Yeah.
things, and suddenly it's a
All of a
breathalyzer
sudden.
bypass unit.
Oh my god.
Kind of like- and I think I shared this with you guys last time we talked, but it's still one of my favorite stories. It's similar to the, here we have in Florida, we have iguana the iguana weather, which means that, we get the warnings. You guys might get snow or, blizzard warnings. We get the iguana falling warnings, which means it might get cold enough that the iguanas, seemingly freeze and they fall out of trees. And apparently they're very good eating. And I think it was last year, 2 years ago, somebody collected a bunch of them and put them in his car so he could take them home and eat them. Well, his car was not cold because he had the heater on, and all of these iguanas came back to life while they were in the car, and he ended up crashed on the side of the road because he had 20
car
plus
filled
iguanas.
with formerly torpid iguanas.
Yeah. So I think maybe there's a lesson in here. I don't know about.
Yeah, just because the
Stop
animal
messing
is not
with
conscious
animals.
now.
Right. I mean, that was the same weather. In the same vein, there was a woman who in Florida again. She had stolen some baby alligators, and instead of she put them down her yoga pants to keep their mouths closed. And so when she was stopped, she was found with, I think she had 3 baby alligators in her yoga pants. So
As you do.
as one does.
What
Apparently.
is the correct?
I mean,
number of
we've all
baby
been
alligators
there.
in your yoga pants.
Just a story that starts with baby alligators.
And yoga pants.
Right.
I feel like a story just start with in Florida.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun story.
That's how this happened, That baby alligator in my yoga pants.
And you squeeze the raccoon.
Exactly. Well, there is a pump on the side to squeeze to put air in it. So maybe that's what I'll go find. I'll go find an alligator, a raccoon, to see if perhaps they'd like to help me with that.
Is that
That
the
sounds
Reebok
good.
pump?
It is. Yeah, this is the fancy. Yeah, for what I paid for it, I'm sure it probably was.
Fancy.
Ouch.
So Jeff asked us in the private chat, should we introduce ourselves? And I think
Thinks
that
we
might be an excellent idea.
Yeah.
My name is Jimmy. I'm one of the hosts.
And I'm Jessica. I'm also one of the hosts and married to this guy.
Ah.
Who knew?
And I heard
one
you
would think
two
this.
you're so romantic that you wanted to do a live stream on Valentine's Day.
And it's Valentine's evening here as well. I told my coworkers, they were like, "Oh, my husband got a cake for me," and my other colleague was, "Oh, I'm going to run out and get some cheese and wine," and we're like, "Yeah, we're live streaming on Twitch." That's the people we are. I mean, we get to spend it with awesome people.
Yeah,
And you chose to spend it with us?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Nothing more romantic than this crew right here. Am I right?
I know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Jimmy still seems surprised of that fact, yes?
So, Richard, who are you?
I don't know who I am anymore.
Still working on it?
I'm the jet-lagged one, right? I was in Sweden 2 days ago, and things began to make sense there just in time for me to come back home again, and now nothing make sense again. So, I'm all right. I'll be in Orlando in a couple of days because reasons.
Oh, okay. Reasons.
He's a .NET Rocks guy. That's who he is.
Should have a
Thank you
hat
for
that says
introducing him correctly. Yeah.
I guess I'm next since I'm on the top row here. Yeah, I'm Jeff
Yeah.
Fritz. I'm that Twitch guy. Can I say that? Am I?
Yeah.
Is that my thing?
You're a
So,
celebrity. You
No.
own it.
Sure. I'll own that. I do the streaming on the Twitch, writing the codes.
Writing the codes.
Oh,
Is that me?
Yeah,
Go for it,
I
Dee.
think so.
sure.
I'm Dee Dee.
We'll save the boot for last.
Right? And you guys, I don't want to be rude, but I was this close to calling in sick because we got 9 inches of freshies at our ski area. But here's what saved all of us. They closed the pass.
So some great powder you cannot get to.
I know. So there we are. Because I was going to be like, I have the flu.
Oh,
Just don't look
ouch.
at my Facebook.
Yeah.
She says, it's not you guys, it's me, you know, and I have to wash my
Hey,
hair.
Simon is now following.
Right? How does that sound? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm no longer sick. I had this miraculous recovery. Here I am. Go, Sara, boot girl.
I am Sara Faatz.
Number 3.
I've been in this space for a long time, and just happy to be hanging out with all of these fantastic people. I was with Jimmy and Jessica and Richard in London 2 weeks ago.
3.
Is that all it was? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But Richard, you're coming to Florida as I'm going to Germany, so you know
Excellent. Yeah.
we'll be crossing, and I'm further south than you'll be, but
Yeah.
crossing paths in the night, as one does. So,
As is so common for us, actually.
yes, it is actually.
Yeah.
When are we all going to be in the same rooms one of these days?
I think we're all in the green room.
Yeah.
Right?
Doesn't count, Sarah. We need to work on that, though, Dee. We need to work on that.
I
There's
think, like,
rumor there might be an MVP summit, you know, and so
Mm.
might be an excuse for us to all be in Redmond, but we'll
Might
see.
I like it when it happens in the Seattle area.
Yeah, it's easy for you, Dee, and Sarah. Not that hard to get on a plane. I bet Jeff would be the tough one to get there. Is
Yeah.
neither an MVP nor an MVP, community manager.
Not anymore.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, we switched groups and he left. I
Yeah,
don't know
exactly.
That
we
happens.
we think it's our fault he left.
Yes, it's exactly your fault.
Yeah,
Who the heck
We
are these other
finally-
people? I'm not dealing with this. Goodbye.
yeah, exactly. We finally managed to switch groups, and Jeff is like, "I'm out of here."
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
It's really hard to not take that personal.
yeah.
This is off topic, but which is more fun to swear at, Siri or Chat GPT?
Oh, to swear at?
Or Alexa?
Oh, Alexa.
Hmm.
I haven't
She's
tried
taking
any of them, to be honest.
I'm actually nice to all my digital assistants because they will kill me last when the
Yeah.
uprising comes.
Yeah, she's playing the odds against the robot uprising.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I
I'm
have sworn a little bit for Google Assistant because in the car, yeah, it's not as good as the others.
I don't
So,
typically swear
Jessica
at them.
is very, this is my car. I'm taking my car. My car.
I'm the only one who's drive it.
And until,
And it's
like, what was it, a
shiny.
week ago? She comes home, something's wrong with your car.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
the GPS died, and I had to Control-Alt-Delete the freaking car. And I was angry, and I was lost, and I come home, and it's like, it's your car.
Yeah. Now go
Deal
fix
with
it.
it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, Dee, I
Next
don't normally
aid was
swear-
mine again.
I'm supportive of your. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say I don't normally swear at them, but I will text, like with the car, I'll text them words to say, and then I laugh hysterically when they pronounce whatever swear word I've said. Because I'm 12, so I'll, Scott and I are driving together. I'll text him, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, you should hear that. Like, see how they read it." So yeah, it's,
Well, the stupid thing defaults to your facial recognition, right? But it never works when I need it. Like when I really need it, the facial thing never works. And so I swear at Siri.
Yeah. You should have programmed it
know.
with that stress face, right? Like stub your toe, then set facial recognition.
Yeah. Anyway, this is kind of off topic, but we were, my company got acquired. over the last
Congratulations.
2
Did
weeks.
it?
Thank you. I know you've never heard that. So we our company got split in two, and part of it got acquired by Snowflake, big public company.
Mhm.
Part of it got acquired by a smaller company called Growth Acceleration Partners. That's where I'm going to the smaller company. Anyway, so we're so close to closing the first deal, which is the GAP one. That's the acronym for it. Anyway, and we're like down to the wire. And one of the lawyers who was not super tech savvy, he all of a sudden you hear this voice in the background, and he didn't realize he wasn't on mute. And I hear this, shut up, Alexa, just shut up. And all of us completely lose it, because like this is the end of this like long drive. Never sell your company to two companies, because it's a three-way deal, and which three-way, I mean, as long as we're going to go to badness, and we know we are, three-way sounds good in some scenarios, not so good in an acquisition. And Richard, that look on your face, you just went.
That's where we are.
Anyway, so the Alexa moment was our finest moment of our acquisition.
Well, as long as you had a safe word in that acquisition, Dee Dee, you're all good.
We did not.
And we all know the safe word is pineapple.
Pineapple, yes.
Yeah.
I would have guessed Dee Dee's safe word was donut.
Yeah. Oh, that's my happy
might
word.
be.
Look, wait, not donut, but I got so much candy. Like,
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Speaking of which,
nice.
Dee Dee, did you see? I didn't know about this, but I saw it yesterday on Facebook somewhere. Did you know that Pepsi has a Peeps soda? Have you seen that?
What?
Yes.
Nothing good about this.
No, I mean that sounds.
Everything.
pretty much
It
like
sounds
it.
horrendous, but I need one.
Yeah.
So that's
Jimmy would
basically
probably love
Pepsi
it.
with sugar.
Yes, it's sugar
It's
with
Peepsy.
sugar. Let me see if I can find it. I'll drop it. Share
There
the.
is-
Oh, that's such a missed opportunity.
people are so
Peepsy.
People are so negative about Peeps flavored things, and I am here for every single one of them. I want to try them all.
My favorite thing about Peeps is how well they burn.
What, Jeff? How do I not have
What,
those?
hot tamale Peeps. There you
Yeah,
go.
well, they burn.
So Peeps are actually made here in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Oh,
So
really?
we get all the weird flavors and get Peeps released for every holiday and different shapes and different things. Zombie Peeps was a thing at Halloween. Like,
How are we not making a field trip to Jeff's house?
You know we end up in Pennsylvania if we do that, right?
don't do that. That's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea.
Right?
Like, the only thing that could be worse than being in Pennsylvania is Michigan.
No, nice.
Not the winner.
Mm.
Don't do it. All right.
Yeah.
So,
How was your sports ball there, Jeffy?
What a 6 months it has been. Let me tell you what it's like to be a Philadelphia sports fan. So Sunday night, we lost in the final minute of the Super Bowl. Like, okay. But that's after 3 months. 3 months prior, we lost in the World Series. We weren't even supposed to come close to the World Series in baseball. And like, we made it to the finals and we're playing against Houston and we're up 2-1. Like, yes. We lost 3 games in a row and lost 4-2. Like, in the month before that, our Philadelphia Union in pro soccer, we were in the finals, the league championship game against LAFC, and we had the lead in extra time. They were a man down, and we gave up a goal, the latest goal ever in Major League Soccer championship history, in the 128th minute. Just stupid.
That's a lot of extra time.
That's a lot of extra time. Went to the shootout and lost 3-0 in the shootout. Like, it wasn't even close. So in 6 months, we've lost 3 championships in sports. Like,
Nobody likes second place.
look,
You know what,
Sarah's
Jeff?
gonna. Sarah,
As my
you're gonna
daddy always
appreciate.
used to say, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's so harsh.
I was going to say, you're going to appreciate, Sarah. My Philadelphia Flyers have won 2 games this February. They've capped out how many games they're allowed to win this month. We are second to last in the division. That's okay. Only because for some reason Columbus is worse.
Wow.
Like, how is Columbus worse than us? They signed the best player in the league in the offseason, and they're worse. I don't know how you do that. Like, okay. So yeah, it's been quite a sports season here in the Fritz household.
Well,
But
the Canucks didn't come anywhere near to the playoffs either, dude. So
but you're able to handle those Seattle Kraken, and that's what we can all agree to.
there we go. Well, we've got a team of children, right? So they're rebuilding.
They haven't lost yet to Seattle, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. There's
Just
no.
you wait. We're rebuilding too.
Yeah, right. First you have to build before you can rebuild. The problem is that I just don't see how Seattle and Vancouver end up with like a real serious rivalry. There's way too much pot involved. Like, how's it going, eh? Like that's as far as it's gonna get.
Actually, the only Kraken game I've ever been to, the guy next to me was not from Seattle originally, and I think he said he was from Chicago. He was hilarious, and he was like jawing the whole night, and he's yelling, and there were some people behind us who were also who was it? They were yelling at 93, number 93.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness gracious,
Right?
that guy was
You guys remember this?
Best.
funny.
Yeah, every time he would come by, no matter what he did, they were like,
Yeah.
"You suck, 93." Well, the guy next to me says at the end of the game, he's like, "That was amazing." He's like, Seattle Kraken fans are so soft. I've never heard anybody say anything ugly ever in a hockey game before. While I'm here, he's like, "There's hope."
He was after the away team. Oh well, of course. Only angry at one player.
So I just swore on ChatGPT because that's what
Just
I
to
do.
see what would happen.
Yeah, and the tab, how the browser tab is named "Angry Request for Help." So I think I've been rebuked too. It
There you
says
go.
offensive language is never appropriate. I feel like it is.
It's always
Could be.
appropriate.
Yeah, it could be.
Some
And
better
Siri
handled than
gets
others.
kind of offended by it too.
I thought ChatGPT did a really nice job. I don't know if you guys saw right before we went live. I posted. I asked ChatGPT to write a Valentine's Day poem for software developers.
Nice.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys saw it, but I thought,
I didn't see it. What is
oh
it?
yeah, yeah.
saying?
I
Is
can
it
read
like-
it for you guys. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
You
Shall I do a
poetry.
dramatic reading or just
Dramatic. Yeah.
before you start, I just asked Bing Chat what the F is going on, and something went wrong, and it looks like I crashed Bing by swearing at it.
Oh no.
Go ahead.
Bing is a snowflake.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so you'd like to hear the dramatic reading of the Valentine's Day poem for software developers, courtesy of ChatGTP. Here we go. For my love who codes all day, I have a Valentine's poem to say. Your keystrokes are the keyboard so sweet. As you code through the night without a peep, you debug with grace and ease, and your algorithms always please. Your logic is sound, your syntax divine. I can't imagine a world without your design. You make my heart race like an overlocked CPU, and I'm grateful for every day for all that you do. So on this day of love and romance, I'll remind you that you're my perfect chance. To spend my life with a software developer like you is a dream come true, and my love will always be true.
Aw.
Very
Oh my God, that was pretty good.
I have tears in my eyes.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Well, there you go.
The amount of details.
Right? Yeah, I was impressed.
This is the advancement of civilization. This is where we are.
Yes. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Don't ask it to count,
No.
I did
but
ask.
poems it can do.
It can't. I did ask. So next week, I'll be at Boston, but my daughter and two of her hockey teammates are coming with me, and they will be fritting around Frankfurt while I'm at Boston. So I was like, I asked ChatGPT what it would recommend that 3 teenagers do in Frankfurt, and actually it gave me some. I had done some research on my own, but it gave me some more options. So I was pretty impressed. I thought it was it's
Hmm.
been very useful for me so far. A poem for you guys and travel tips. So
For teenagers.
There you go.
for teenagers, yeah,
Yeah. No, that's a powerful combination.
it is for sure.
We are definitely in the AI all the things phase at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. For good and for bad, I think.
We're
Yeah.
all, according to all the experts, next year we'll all be out of work.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely.
Oh my gosh, no. No, we were cleaning up the AI's mess. That's what we were
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in this back and forth between Google and Microsoft.
Oh.
And I mean, it's not going to stop with search, right? I think all of these products that they've been keeping indoors, experimenting privately with. Now there seems to be an incentive to experiment publicly with them.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be part of that experiment.
I've heard Google's super upset about the employees are upset about Google's public response, and as someone who was at Microsoft during the years as Google rose and did their do no evil, I won't say the word associated with it, but I'm still a little bitter about that kind of self-righteousness, that I'm totally here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you have some questions in the chat room?
The mantra's gone away, I suspect.
Never was there.
The use of AI in the same way that we use database access, that it's just a black box and we're able to pass questions, input into it, collect output, and do something valuable with it. It's here. Utility AI, in the same way that we as developers work with database, it's here. And
like database, garbage in, garbage out.
Totally. Oh, totally. I can completely agree with you on that. So, and I'm absolutely seeing it.
And in the end, the difference is now what we've done is basically created a confident sounding database. So it doesn't matter that the information isn't correct. It just sounds good. It's like a Dunning-Kruger amplifier. As long as you know nothing about what you ask, you're going to believe everything it says.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but haven't we all known that person who spoke with confidence and
Yes.
they get ahead? So come on, we all know that person, that is a motion that works in certain circumstances.
That triggers me. People like that triggers me.
Yeah.
When they speak, they say something that is wrong.
That with
Maybe not
absolute
harmful, but yeah, exactly. But they have the confidence.
I usually say that everything becomes better with vocoders. That's my absolute. I'm not wrong. That's not part of it, but people get triggered.
Yeah.
Like Jeff, who is like, is that true? It is. It's true. I don't make the rules. I just know them all.
Oh, look, all data is 80% true and 20% lies.
So in the chat, we have Fulesnabel who says that he uses ChatGPT exclusively to do puns and dad jokes. That is good usage.
Yeah, for sure. I actually just asked it to write a story about about all of us here today, and I think I broke it because it's just the cursor is just blinking.
Are you
Pineapple.
Exactly.
I know I'm doing tell me a dad joke and it's doing this. It's just blinking.
Are you using ChatGPT
Yeah, Sara broke
or
it.
Bing?
So I'm using ChatGTP, but I actually opened up Chat Sonic as well. So I thought maybe at some point we could ask them both the same thing at the same time and see what we get as a result. Because they actually use the ChatGPT 3.5 engine in the back end. So it would be interesting to see if there's any difference whatsoever.
Who's paying for ChatGPT? Anybody?
Not right. No, not yet. I'm just using the.
Yesterday it hit me up for $20.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, that's ChatGPT Plus, right?
Yeah. Needless to say, I didn't.
Well, and this is the whole question now: is that if we're just going to do a free arms race for a while, or are we actually going to start spending money on it? Like, how many people have to sign up for ChatGPT Plus to be able to break even?
So Bing actually does a search on the things that you ask it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just asked Bing Chat, can you write me a story about Sara, Faatz, Richard Campbell, D.D. Walsh, Jeff Fritz, Jimmy and Jessica Ingstrom? And it did a search about us.
Uh-oh.
What could go wrong?
They- Don't mention our road trip.
Don't mention my Maui presentation at Dev Intersection.
Is that like the Don Box one where did he show up fully? No, he showed up with
No.
his shirt on and nothing.
No,
else.
he had been yelled at for not wearing the speaker shirt because he would never wear the speaker shirt.
Right.
So then he walked on stage wearing only the speaker
Just
shirt.
the speaker.
But he came from the back and went and stood in front of the podium. So nobody knew until he walked off the stage.
Wow.
But
What
when you're
was
saying
that?
only, do you mean only?
Only.
Only. And
Only.
here's a funny story. So I was still at Microsoft when that happened. And I was trying to remember the story for something we were doing. This was a while ago because I left Microsoft in 2012. Anyway, so I reach out to Don, Don B, and said, hey, when you were naked at TechEd, did you do blah, blah, blah? Well, it turns out I went to the wrong Don B. Some poor support guy said, I don't remember this, but I was drunk that first night.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Oh, the anxiety.
And I did give a heart attack to some poor support guy in Arizona, who then I told him, oh, not you, wrong Don. And he's like,
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't do it. I'm just saying I don't remember it.
anyway.
Wow.
So
But I mean, they
some
were technically right.
Mhm. And of course, I have Dawn on my mind because I ran the clip of Dawn singing to Miguel in 2003 to the lyrics of Michelle.
Oh, I don't remember.
Miguel Novel, these two words do
Oh,
not go
yeah.
together well. And of course, our friend Carl Franklin was playing the guitar for that.
And speaking about that, we got a question in the chat. How was Svetug? And I guess we can't answer that because
No, you were
Organizers?
too busy running it.
No,
Yeah.
we know what we think, but we're biased.
So Richard, how was Svetug?
I think it was pretty great. It was full rooms, a bunch of people excited to be there. I mean, as excited as Swedish people get. Let's be clear, right?
Yes,
That's
that is true.
They are a conservative bunch, but they're polite. I had a few fans of the show, so I definitely was approached and folks saying, "Hey, thanks so much for." And we did a live DNR, which is always fun. And,
It is.
yeah, and we had Maddie Montequila and David Ortner on. It was like the all Maui sweat hug, I think, right? Like there was a lot.
Yeah,
of
it
Maui.
Yeah.
was a lot of Maui. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of cold in Sweden this time of year, so bringing a little Maui
Yeah.
in probably, warms
I
everything.
know, right?
It warms the cockles of your heart, I'm sure. I just want to say
We
cockles.
actually got Maddie to sing a couple of songs together
Ooh.
with Carl. Yeah, Carl was doing the entertainment, so he was singing and playing for
Yeah.
us, and Maddie went up stage and sang
Nice.
like 3
Maddie
songs.
sang?
Or
I didn't
something.
realize.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
She could sing. Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that. That's awesome. Very cool.
And I think she has what? Didn't she write that she actually has a single coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Wow.
No.
These side careers.
Who has
Yeah.
a single
Yeah.
coming out?
Maddie.
Maddie.
What? That's
Or
I
cool.
think
her
Maddie and her
band,
team,
yeah.
or band or something like that.
I
I don't think
don't-
it's Maddie only.
No, I don't remember the name of the band
no.
right now.
But yeah. No,
is
we
not
had
rec-
fun.
It's
know, I
not
thought it was
Maddie and the
definitely fun.
Mauis.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's so
I
bad.
tried to get her to sing the Maui song, Let's Go to Maui, that our friend Daniel Hendriquez has recorded as a joke, I guess. But yeah, they were hard to convince to get up on stage unprepared.
You did try though.
I did
Definitely
my best
tried.
to try to get them to.
We should
Go
see if
up
we
and
can get her to
sing
sing the Blazer song.
Oh, you
Yeah,
should.
it's
You
on
should.
the same line as the Blazer
Gotcha,
song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we have another question in the chat. Somebody asked what we got our partners today for I almost said Thanksgiving for Valentine's Day. Did anybody do anything?
One down, one up.
Maybe you should. There it is.
There it is.
My anniversary actually was on the weekend on the 11th, so we tend to blend the two events. And I was away in Sweden, so I did make sure there were flowers.
Sorry about
arriving on
that.
the 11th.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I don't even think we're going to go out tonight. We, now that back home again, so we sort of plan out our week, and it's like, okay, no, it's nonstop work. We're both buried in good projects, not unhappy. And I just built out 2 new workstations. So there you go. There's our couples thing. We both have Gen 13 Intel workstations now, but she's the one doing all the 3D rendering. So
Nice.
she got the big GPU stuff.
That's awesome.
Some of one of the renders that she said took over a weekend, took 20 minutes on the new platform. So
Nice.
some serious fan noises doing that, but that's fine. It's quiet when it's not doing those kinds of workloads. In some ways you feel good about actually, okay, I'm going to run this thing, and you hear the machine going, okay.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's legit. Of course, she's working with this company that specializes in the clothing trade, as you all know. And so there's a couple of scientists that are actually doing a lot of the modeling work, some of the more complicated things. She said, what's the preferred spec machine for this? They actually said, we suggest the RTX 8000. Have you ever heard of this thing? I didn't know it existed.
Oh,
This is the
Threadripper.
Yeah, this is NVIDIA's top of the line processing unit for workstations. $12,000.
Wow.
I mean, there's
That's,
video cards, and then there's compact cars. And so I showed her. So I mean, I get that they're speccing this. I mean, I could sell the car, if you want one. She's like, maybe we can step it down a couple of notches. Yeah, no, maybe we could. I just wonder if we had gone that way, like how fast would that render have been?
Do you think it would have been exponentially faster? I mean,
You
20
would have
minutes
to
is
be.
pretty quick.
No,
right?
it should have rendered 2 minutes before she started, right? Like for that kind of money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So plus, I suspect I could put a kettle on the back of that thing too and boil water each time she does the rendering.
Off topic of anything, because where my mind goes also. Okay, so going to a new company.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm at a company that we're Microsoft, so it's Teams and blah blah blah. And now I'm going to a new company which is Google Slack, and can we all agree that there's an inbox for everything? So you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have Twitter. I keep getting these notifications. Which one? And I have so.
I'm with you.
I keep having to mute because there's so many different
Chimes
bells that are ringing. Yeah, chimes everywhere. Sorry, now I got to deal with a real person.
Yeah.
Well, and I told somebody the other day that I was talking to Dee Dee and Jeff on Skype, and they're like, "No, you don't mean Skype." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I do mean Skype." They're
Skype.
like Skype. I'm like, yeah, we are. It's we graduated from ICQ and we moved over to Skype, and maybe someday we'll come to a different platform. But we're the ones keeping the lights on over there right now. I think for Skype.
It's reliable. It's durable.
Works.
It just works.
Yeah.
Well, and as I have discovered, the audio video DLL that runs Skype is the same one that runs Teams.
Yeah.
And so, which is a good thing because it just means maintain. So the only difference is they're both Electron apps. It's just that one doesn't bother with much of the way it just sticks to strictly Microsoft identity, and the other one's trying to bind to Azure identity, aka tenantitis. So it's not that I don't have Teams; it's that I don't have the right Teams at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah, and
you
that
have
is
no
hard to
idea.
explain to people. So
Yeah.
the school, I should say, we teach at now, because I recruited Jimmy, they
Flash
have
aware is
one
now
tenant,
following.
and then we have another, and then we have the MVP, and we have work and all over the place. And it's hard to explain that, well, I can't get into that one right now because I'm working on this, and it's complicated.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work.
Yep.
No.
A lot of times, like, there'll be times when Dee Dee and I are on a Teams call together. We don't work for the same company, and I'll try to share a link to a document that I've given permission to anybody outside of my company to see. She can't read it in Teams. She can't access it. But if I drop it to her in Skype, she can open it.
It's fine. It
Tell me
doesn't try.
How does that make sense?
Simpler times.
Yeah.
I do need to step away, and my daughter's finishing school. I will try to be right back in about 20 minutes.
Awesome.
All right. See you later, Jeffy.
But
I've
try
also
to not
found
behave.
we probably. The fun part about Teams, of course, is that you'll get a different behavior whether you go to the desktop client or the web client.
Yes.
So often, if
Yeah.
I go to I'll go to the desktop client. There'll be a long spin and so forth, and it'll go, you can't connect. It won't tell me why. It won't give me any remedies, except you can try again, so you can fail twice. Would you like that? But if you close all of that and then do the web client's like, oh, sure, why not? I was talking to Skype. He says you're a good guy. In you go.
Yeah. It's crazy how much, and now on the Microsoft side, which the better the Microsoft, the more you use Microsoft, the worse your experience. Can we all agree? Like, you'll have multiple accounts. So I'm learning the same thing is true for Google, because I now have like 6 Google accounts. So I have to have like 3 different browser instances open to keep all of my Google crap going.
I think this is the only reason we're really happy that there's more than one browser out there, is that I've got I've Chrome configured for one set of Google identities and one set of Teams identities, and then Edge configured for a different set of identities.
Yeah.
But then I've got 3 computers wrapped around me here too, so I can almost handle all of the different tenants that I'm involved in.
I know, isn't it? The thing is, we've all been in tech for so long. Like, can we all agree we're old timers? So when we're like 100 years old, and let's face it, we'll probably still be alive, because look at us. I mean, come on. We'll have like, how many different identities will we have online at that
Oh,
point?
wow.
Now, I'm pretty sure I have an identity inside of Microsoft that was so old it's not even mapped to a country. And it's one of those ones where every time I roll it out for a beta app, it just kills the app. It's like, let me try a different identity, one that won't hurt you quite so much.
Well, the Visual Studio Marketplace is associated with, I worked at Microsoft for 20 some years, and my identity is still associated with Microsoft, and it literally lets me log in as an employee.
But only there.
Only there, and I can't change it. I don't want it. I don't want that, I'm trying to do it for my company, and yeah.
Do you
and
still have all the permissions you would have had as an employee, though? That's pretty cool.
I know, right? The permissions that do me no good, that I don't want. Like, it couldn't be for something fun. No.
Right.
When I got invited to speak to NASA about building bases on the moon, when NASA asked me to tell me about their stuff, they gave me an identity into NASA. Like, I had to go to the Ames base and so forth. So, and I was actually allowed to stay in the hotel that's on the base. And they clearly put me in the wrong category. Like, you would presume they have a pretty good identity management system. For crying out loud, they're literally rocket scientists, right? But they flagged me, I think, as a new employee. So as soon as this account was created, immediately I was getting scheduling for training.
Oh,
So
nice.
I kind of
gone
sent
to
them a
the
message.
moon?
Now this was more like training for how to use email, right?
Oh.
And the basics. I mean, I would have done those classes if I'd had that choice. That would have been great. But no, this is like,
Or Mars?
yeah, and how to file a human resources conflict report. And so I ping my sponsor and say, I'm getting these emails, and she's like, just ignore them. So then I'm getting the angry follow-up email saying I haven't shown up for a training class. Like,
Oh no.
what reputation am I going to have by the time I actually get to this event? But the equivalent of the NASA gal opened up to me.
Ooh.
So now I'm starting to search for my favorite astronauts just to see, and it's
Were
like,
they
what email
there?
addresses would I like to know? Because they're all in there.
Are they all in there? Did you get them?
I didn't really do anything with them. I just amused myself for a while. But it all quietly went away after I'd finished my presentation. So I guess they weren't that impressed.
Dang.
Or very, very angry because you didn't do the training.
Yeah, if I'm not going to bother with the training, there's no chance you're going to be able to stay into this.
I think if I had that access, Richard, I would have tried to get schedule myself some training time in the pool in Houston, right, where you can go and dive, and I would definitely.
Oh yes, the diver lady. That makes sense to me. That's where you make me want to go. Yeah. Can I get deployed to Sea Lab, please?
Right,
How
exactly.
how far could you go down that path before somebody goes, "Who the heck is this?"
Right, exactly. I mean, you kind of follow the act like you belong there. How long do you act like you belong there before somebody's like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Wait a second.
Be like,
You're who?
But I have my moon boot on.
I mean, how cool are you?
Right? So Richard, you said you have 3 computers around you. And all I kept thinking is I have my computer, and then I have this giant head of my daughter.
There you go. That's not unnerving at all.
Exactly, just kind of appear.
Is she aware that you're showing this?
She's aware that I have it, and I said that it will
I think it's bad enough that it exists.
It makes appearances every once in a while.
It does.
I had a green screen in my office, and I had it, or I was using the green screen, and I had that behind me, and I talk with my hands all the time, and if I moved my hands often enough, like her face would just kind of like appear and then disappear. People like
Periodically, you're talking to Sara, and all of a sudden it starts rising up, and she doesn't say anything. She just does it, and you're like,
I think we need to talk to your daughter.
Well, you know how hardwired we are for recognizing faces.
right.
But size matters. We were involved in a promotion for some, I think it might have been the Component One folks, and they built their booth with 10-foot walls, and our heads were 10 feet tall. And I'm standing in front of my head, and my physical head's the size of one of my teeth. I'm like, there's just deeply wrong. Like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not standing here. I can't stand here beside a giant me. That's weird.
A little bit.
yeah.
But cardboard cutouts are my favorite. At conferences, if I find, when they used to do like the Masters series and they had cardboard cutouts of Billy Hollis, we stole the Yuval Lowy. I think this is 99. We stole Yuval Lowy and we took him all over Dallas. He did stuff that Yuval Lowy would never do.
Yes.
Can't believe how many bars he turned up in, and we stuck him on a few buses, and he ended up.
And that was long before we had the cameras on our phones, right? And Jeffrey Richter's his wife actually got a hold of one of them, and she had it in the house forever. So you would walk into his house, and there's Jeffrey standing there, and she would dress him up for holidays, and put party beads on, or put diapers in his hand, or something like that. It was fantastic.
Yeah, at Microsoft there were lots of applications for those.
Right.
Yeah.
As you can imagine.
These we did. My daughter plays ice hockey, and we decided we should all get them. The girls were playing in the national championship, so we're like, we're gonna get all of their heads. We're gonna get these giant fat heads, and we decided what size we were gonna get. And I said that I wanted her hair included. So that's why she's like, this thing is massive, right? Everybody else's heads were about that size, but they had like ponytails or their helmets on. So, we get to the hotel, right? The night before the tournament starts. And we're so excited because we had them all shipped to the hotel and we're opening them. And I was dying. My daughter's probably one of the shorter girls on the team. And her head is like, head and shoulders above everybody else. And I'm walking into the ice rink with his head.
Giant head.
I feel like you just won a big parenting,
It
like
still brings me joy. That was almost a year ago. Like I and I keep thinking if they make it again this year, if they qualify, I don't know, maybe I get another one and I just start a collection, right?
How did you not win Mother of the Year last year?
Right. I know. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you. You get me.
I think it's the same reason why you nominated her. It's same.
Yes, I know. Sara, you need a crown.
Oh, I have one. Hold on. Wait.
Wait, hold up.
She's actually the queen of Liechtenstein.
There
I
you go.
have evidence of that.
Here we go.
Yeah.
There you go, Dee Dee. I'm wearing it.
Okay,
just for
all
you.
right. Yeah.
Sierra time. That's where we are.
Oh, we are here.
This is
Oh, it's a little crooked, but I think that's kind of appropriate for me, don't you think?
Yeah, it would look crazy otherwise.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I don't think it should be on straight.
by the
We
way,
talked
I
about what
found out
we
that
got our wives or husbands.
Partners?
Significant
Yeah.
others.
Significant others, yeah. So we have kind of a deal. We're not getting anything.
Yeah, we're doing something together instead,
Yeah.
like this stream.
There you go.
So with that said, I did get something.
Yeah, because
There
he's
you
an a-hole.
So if you could get
I
that.
just
I'm opening our stream.
I thought that would be fun.
So, can we all be in agreement that he's being an a-hole right now?
Mm,
Because he,
But it's kind of for us. So
Okay.
you will see. You will like it.
yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
unveiled right now? Like you don't know what it is, Jessica?
nope.
No, and we have said no gifts because we do something together. But for some reason,
And
there's a package here.
we might do this together.
We might do this together. Okay.
is this for
Pineapple.
And
Do we need any pineapples?
and I have seen in the chat room that we have a little bit of request for this as well. So
Do we have requests for this?
Oh, is it
You're
Lego?
forgiven.
It's Lego.
You're forgiven.
Definitely Lego.
It's not Lego, but close enough. It's a micro bricks or whatever, but it's Stitch.
Oh,
Oh.
And Stitch
That's
is my
awesome.
absolute favorite. Did you by any chance get this on an ad on Facebook or
I did.
something? Yeah, I might have Googled some stuff because I did some research on. We gave Lego to the speakers for.
you two
Sveatud.
are couples goals for
Yeah.
for every
you go.
day, but especially Valentine.
Yeah. We
You
promise
are
not to get each other gifts, then we get stuff that really, really want.
That's awesome.
He's forgiven, but he's also in the doghouse. But it's Stitch, so what can I say?
That's okay.
Thank
Back
you.
in the
So-
back
so-
in the early days for my wife and I, she had her own company and had an office, few people working and so forth. And to try and be a thoughtful husband, of course, I solved problems with programming. So I thought I want to send her flowers for no particular reason. So wrote a little script to generate calendar elements into Outlook to remind myself to send her flowers at random intervals throughout the year. And turns out if you send flowers regularly, like you get friendly with your florist and they start giving you nicer flowers too. So so I would call them random flower events. And of course, the other folks in the office would notice this and be annoyed at their spouses because she just got flowers. And at one point, she had a company party, and I got cornered by a bunch of husbands. Like, listen, dude, you need to back this stuff off. And so for Valentine's Day, to back off, I hired a barbershop quartet to sing to the group for an hour.
No.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that has to be done.
Don't poke me. Watch what I can do. And those guys were awesome.
I need to lift in this pun. He's really
Yep.
stitching the relationship together.
Aw.
Yeah.
That made me
Look at that.
reload
Give him a
our
car
car.
now. Fair trade. No, he's not. He can get a car.
Yeah.
He can't get my car.
Well, isn't your car broken? Now it's his car.
When it's broken, it might become his. It's dirty, but it's still mine because he's not allowed to wash it.
It's winter.
I'm a little bit particular.
Oh, he doesn't wash it
Tiny-
right. Is that
tiny.
the issue?
Yeah. No, well, then he needs supervision or something.
Okay.
I only hand wash it, and it needs to be in the correct way
Okay.
because I don't want any micro scratches. And yeah,
You know, it's a car.
I know.
It lives
it's me.
outside. Bad things happen.
Yep, I know. One of these days you can get a car. I don't know.
Yeah. When the
I'm
daughters
happy
wanted to
paying
learn
for
to
it.
drive, I suggested to we go
Oh
get,
wow,
like,
that sounded so sexist. I'm happy paying for it. It's our car. We bought it with
It's
our
our
money.
car.
On paper. I drive it.
he repairs it.
No,
No.
it's a new car. We don't need repairs. Also, if we need repairs, we leave it at someone who knows what they're doing.
There's that too.
It's an EV. There's not much you can do
Yeah,
yourself.
Not much to do to it. Yeah.
No.
And it will. Yeah. We are, after all, we make a living as experts. We should be hiring experts, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's a little
That's what I
hypocrisy there.
Jimmy, what are you drinking? It looks like Peeps soda.
It could be, I guess. It's actually caffeinated Crystal Light.
Well, I love the color. It matches.
Oh,
your
mine
background.
should be translucent, right?
Ah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mine is actually green.
Are those your wedding flutes?
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, we
I
have
love
the
My
Star Trek
sister did
blues.
those for us.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Very nice.
So are you up for some friendly competition?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's
Some
do it.
movie trivia or some movie questions?
So
we're losing Dee to do a power.
Oh, we're
concern.
losing Dee Dee? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's wait for her then.
It's going to be a while.
So what were you saying?
She's lost power. She'll be out for a while.
Oh, she lost power?
Yes.
Oh,
The
that
work
sucks.
crew in her house have had to turn off the power. So
Oh,
So
Great.
for Christmas, I got a game.
Yep.
Which has
Oh.
bad.
movie descriptions.
Yeah. So let's see if you can figure this one out.
uh-oh.
Yeah, and feel free to join in the chat room as well. So we have a disgraced university lecturers try to save careers by claiming ghosts are real.
Sounds like Ghostbusters to me.
No. Who are you
No?
gonna call?
You're so fast. Yes.
come on.
Yes, Ghostbusters.
Have you met us? We've
Yeah, that is
traveled
true.
across Germany together, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know. That was fun.
All right. What about this one?
Business owner lures children to factory to find his successor.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Could you at least kind of? What could this be?
We do have, we did have Willy Wonka Too Easy in the chat room and another Willy Wonka. Yeah.
All right. What about this one?
Oh, that's not the one you have here. Okay. Girls changes everything about herself to attract an arrogant teenage boy.
That's like every John Hughes movie.
Yeah. 16
Yeah.
candle. 16 candle.
Yeah.
Mean Girls?
And we have a suggestion now, and we have a suggestion in the chat room as well for Twilight.
Oh.
Okay, do you want a hint? 50s high school.
It's Grease.
Grease. Yeah.
It is Grease.
Summer loving.
And that is a treat. The great thing about Grease is that while the music is phenomenal, it's really a terrible story.
It is a terrible
Taking
story.
a very nice girl and having her throw it all away.
All right. What about this one?
Privileged lady warms to rough sleeper after they share a plate of pasta.
Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, it's Lady and the Tramp.
Come on! What is this? You're on fire. Oh, we have a lady in the tramp in the chat room as well. She's just reading the chat room,
Yeah.
is she?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this one?
Brother kisses sister in intergalactic case of incest.
Star Wars.
A New Hope.
Is it?
No, well, no, the brother didn't kiss the sister. The sister kissed the brother for good luck in A New Hope.
Was it Star Wars?
It's
It's episode
Strikes Back?
5.
in Empire Strikes
Empire
Back.
Strikes Back.
That
yeah.
again was her kissing him. I
Ah.
don't think the brother ever kissed the sister.
That's
Star Wars,
actually
you know.
true.
Yeah.
But the one that they're looking for is Empire Strikes Back.
Empire,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause there was a smooch on the cheek before the swing in the Death Star. Getting entirely too much into details. Shall we do a
Yeah.
scene-by-scene review?
All right, let's bring another one.
Sisters reunite with the help of
Frozen.
a mountaineer,
Yeah, Frozen.
reindeer, and a snowman.
Come on.
The best thing about Frozen is a story about two sisters. Which
Right.
It never happens in film.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
And apparently it was very difficult to get made because it was a story about two sisters. And the fact
We
that
have
it-
3 sisters.
Yeah. And that, well,
For
now.
Cinderella, she has 3 sisters, but
They're
2 sisters? No.
stepsisters. That's making it evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were
But I mean, they were sisters, and then they had a stepsister, so
Yeah.
there was still
but they-
3 sisters.
But they were also secondary characters. It's really about
Yeah.
the one girl pursuing a man. Normal story plot line. The idea that essentially that Frozen is about two sisters, you know, and the path of their relationship evolving as adults is phenomenal. It just is very, very rare. And I'm astonished it still hasn't been replaced yet. With a buddy of mine was having his first child late in life, and he had seen when I had kids and like Barney was the thing. And so it's like, look, and eventually Barney gets replaced with something else. It'll go away. And he's like, I don't know if I can stand Frozen. And I'm like, don't worry. By the time you actually have kids, they'll be the next thing to replace Frozen. Well, nothing has replaced Frozen. As he reminds me constantly, because his daughter's now 7 and still fixated on Frozen.
No.
And the only thing I can say to him is, let it go.
Oh,
Nice.
stop it!
Nice. World class.
Yeah, and the chat room was chiming in there as well. And Dee Dee says, no! Yep. But Disney is actually picking up their act a little bit after all the, if we're looking back, I mean, some of the stories isn't
They're
very
getting better.
nice or inclusive, yeah. But
No,
they're
no.
doing some good. We saw, it wasn't Disney though, was it?
I think it is.
It is? We saw a movie.
Strange World.
Strange Worlds yesterday.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, that is Disney.
Hmm.
That was a nice one.
Super inclusive.
Yeah, without forcing anything. It
Not
was
making
just
it too brutal.
yeah. No, it was. They didn't even mention anything of it. And there was a point where one of the character is gay, and there was a point where it felt like, oh, so this is where they're going to say, well, that's strange, or there's going to be some sort of reaction. There wasn't. It was just, yeah, okay.
Went
Business
right
as
on by.
usual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As it should be. As it
It
should be.
Yeah.
Just, that's what life's actually like.
Yeah.
Any more movies?
Yeah,
I'll
are
take
you
them
ready?
all out. Okay.
We're
yes.
ready.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Man who's barely tall enough to be a pilot is apparently the best one here.
That's a good one.
Apollo 13.
Yeah. Barely tall enough to be
Very
a
tall
pilot.
enough to be a
Yeah. It could be Top Gun. Because
Yeah,
Top
we
Gun,
have
yeah.
Barely
two
tall enough
of
to do
them
anything.
in chat room, and it
Yeah.
is Top Gun.
Okay.
Top Gun.
Again.
And the hints are kind of, this is the movie. There's a shirtless volleyball scene that's kind of famous, and the next one is Val Kilmer plays Iceman.
right.
Yeah. And it's sad when Goose dies.
Well, it is. I mean, that's a true story.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the actual hints.
Hints.
Okay, the next one I'm expecting to be fairly quick.
Okay,
Pretty quick.
teenager teams up with old scientist to flirt with his mom.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Yeah.
Okay, this one might actually be a little bit tricky one.
Former Jedi goes on a murderous rampage in the French capital.
Wow. And there is
Dee
no
Dee is
Jedi
on fire in the chat room.
Die Hard.
in the French capital.
Oh.
Is Die Hard- Die
Is he
Hard's
a
not-
former Jedi?
Yeah,
I don't know. Dee Dee said it in the chat room, so
yeah.
Yeah.
she just made that
Yeah, I
up.
just made that up. We could tell, Dee Dee. We could tell.
I have. Well, what movie?
Do you want
has
a
murder-
hint?
Wait,
Yeah.
what movie has a murderous rampage in a French capital?
Yeah,
Okay.
not too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one. Die Hard. Die Hard is my answer to everything. That's my mom says the same. Are we sure Dee Dee is not my mom? And we also have episode 3. Okay. There's a hint. Cameo from Holly Valance.
I see you didn't read them.
You
in.
saw
Yeah.
I skipped one of them, yes.
I am.
it's not much of a
That's
hint.
not a hint.
Yeah.
No, because the other hint will actually he has a particular set of skills.
So it's Taken.
Yes. And the other
I'm
hint
impressed.
was, I will find you and I will
Yeah,
kill
kill
you.
you.
Richard,
Yeah.
if we were in the same room, I would give you my crown.
There you go.
Lamasoft is on fire as well in the chat room.
Okay, this one is going to be quick as well.
Overambitious theme park closes on opening day.
I was gonna say vacation, but I don't think that was an opening day.
Yeah.
Or ambitious theme park.
Oh,
Jurassic
really?
Park.
Good one. Look
Yeah.
at that. The chat room is amazing.
Right?
Did it even
Yeah.
open?
Technically it didn't, I guess.
I didn't think it actually even opened.
Well, they had a pre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Speaking
one
of
is a
movies-
tricky
oh,
one.
sorry, okay.
Space movie about reproductive cycle spawns 5 sequels. You thought it was tricky, but I got it.
Yeah. But you're better than I.
I wouldn't
sequels?
say that. Yeah.
Oh, somebody said in the chat, they said Alien.
Yeah,
I was-
we
I
have
was
3
hoping for-
aliens.
Yeah. Is there
I was
really
Give me
hoping
that?
2
Right.
more. Give me 2 more.
Was it really that?
It
many
is
aliens?
Alien.
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I mean,
It is Alien.
Alien 2 was the Empire Strikes Back of its day, right? Like it was actually better
Yeah.
than the original film. But then
Agreed.
everything after that was nowhere near as good. Like, yeah, after Alien 2, it's like you should leave this alone because you've really killed it.
Yeah.
So, you know what movie I'm looking forward to?
Which one?
Comes out in about a week and a half. It's called Cocaine Bear.
Oh yes, I saw the preview for that.
So
Okay.
It's actually based on a true story. Did you know it was actually there's a Cocaine Bear museum in Kentucky, in Lexington, Kentucky. But
What?
yeah, so apparently in the 80s, there was somebody who a drug smuggler was running cocaine and flying from somewhere, but he was flying across the states or up the eastern seaboard, and he had engine problems. He jettisoned his cocaine on like the Georgia-Tennessee border, and they found a dead bear who had ingested, I want to say, some ridiculous amount of cocaine. So they've made a movie about it, but more of a
Yeah.
comedy/horror movie.
There's no way,
Oh.
this is a variant of Sharknado, is what you're talking about.
Right, it is. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I'm totally here for it. Like that.
These are proper romps. You know, one of the things I've realized having traveled extensively, the Transformer movies are incredibly good at making me fall asleep. There's something about Michael Bay's cinematography. I think it's a defensive posture of my mind. It's like there's too many things moving on the screen. Bye.
Yeah.
And out you go. And I
think that actually is the thing.
yeah. I
A
think there's
cognitive overload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's an absurdity overload you can do as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
Sharknado is a completely ridiculous premise. And yeah, like you said, you're there for it. And
Right.
Cocaine Bear is going to spawn sequels. You know it will.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We now have a meme to chase.
Right.
But speaking about trailers, have you seen the Flash trailer?
Oh, yes, I have.
I accidentally,
Have you seen
yeah, I accidentally saw it yesterday
The Flash
because there was
trailer?
a reaction. Yeah.
Not
Things
not
are
that Flash,
happening.
the other one. Not the Adobe thing.
Yeah, exactly. Not the Adobe thing. The
Ah.
So
The
Michael
superhero.
Keaton is back as Batman.
Spoilers!
That.
I know, right?
Well, he's the best one.
Wow.
He is.
But
Again.
I mean, he's 500 years older than he
Doesn't
was.
matter.
Yeah. Oh well, it will be interesting to see
doesn't
whether
seem to
they.
matter.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know why that doesn't matter? Because he's Batman.
well, now there's the whole discussion of is Batman even a superhero? Just another demonstration of what happens when you give somebody too much money.
Yeah. Well, that would be
But he did
true
good.
for
Right?
Iron Man as well.
Right.
Yeah, no, they're both exactly that. You know, it's like too much money.
But they did good with it.
Did they?
Some of it. I mean,
of
Batman
it.
can be ruthless in some of the series as well.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
call him the Dark Knight. For a
Oh,
reason.
Batman is actually in the chat room.
There you go.
I'm a Batman.
Bring back Batfleck.
Now the Ben Affleck donut Super Bowl commercial is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Truly, truly brilliant. If you have not seen
Yeah, that was good.
the Dunkin'
is back.
Donuts, the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck is pure genius. And I'm surprised that Ben Affleck did it. I'm sure he loved everything about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that what's her name made appeared in
Right.
it for even a moment, I'm like, how? It
Right.
all made sense until she appeared. It goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, how did you pull that off? Because she's not that funny.
Right. Right. Yeah.
No.
Now, you know, Sidney Crosby has done commercials like that with Tim Hortons up in Canada. But I thought this one was particularly done well.
Yeah, fantastic and delightful. It's like Ben Affleck has to make fun of himself. Everybody else is doing it. So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
He's Batman.
It was funny on
We
Monday
have a-
morning, first thing in the morning, I was in a meeting and somebody kept referencing rock stars. And all I kept thinking back to was the Workday commercial where they're all the rock stars are saying, stop calling yourself rock stars.
Oh yeah. Well, and what was the Ozzy Osbourne line? You know, I've done all the bad things and all of yours too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the only one wearing
There you
Marvel. Sorry. That's how we roll.
This is a campaign for president. Don't you understand? So what did I miss?
Spider-Man
Yeah, so
really
while you were-
Marvel? It's kind of trapped because of Sony. Spider-Man.
It's all Disney anyway.
Yeah, it's all Disney in the end now.
Oh,
while you were
we
gone,
shouldn't
Jeff,
talk about
we were,
Sony.
Probably not.
While you were gone, we were going through some bad descriptions of movies and guessing what they are.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try one more.
I had to give my crown to
Yeah.
Richard, but
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready? Child Protection Services failed to act in a festive neglect case.
Home
Alone.
Alone.
Yeah.
What's up with this?
It's the same in the chat room. They're super fast.
The wrong crowd for this, right?
Yep.
Okay. What about this one?
Former Marine plays virtual reality Smurf game.
It's Avatar.
What? Yep.
Yeah. That's how I describe it. I think I describe it that way all the time.
There you go.
I had $1 for every time I described it that way.
Okay.
Jim Cameron's excessive self-manipulation. That's
Man must complete pottery
Go.
cast with wife before getting into heaven.
Ghost.
Yeah, that
Ghost.
was a little bit too easy. Be
Actually,
right back. Gonna go watch Space Smurfs.
I actually tried this one at work and it's way longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Space Bear.
Man recruited by secret police
Men in
force to
Black.
kill cockroach.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Little people trusted with expensive jewelry. Tragic results.
Oh, this one is taking time?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I'm holding it up and it's green, so you can't see it anyway. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Chat room. Awesome. Child psychologist does nothing to help young boys' delusions.
This one might be tricky.
It's the I See Dead People movie, right?
Yeah.
What's the name of that one?
Yeah, Sixth Sense. They already...
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one. Limbless assassins hijack plane so hero can deliver best movie line ever.
Snakes on a plane.
Are you kidding me?
Get those Monday to Friday snakes off your monkey fighting plane.
And yes, chat room, you should be guessing. It's awesome.
My first thought when I saw Plane and the best movie line, I kept thinking of surely you can't be serious. I am Shirley. I am serious and don't call me Shirley. But they all had their limbs, so you knew it couldn't be that.
Okay. Young boy has a go at adulting, manages to bag a dream job and a hot lady.
Big.
Big, yeah.
Okay, so we got one left, and I can say I am super impressed by this so far. So let's see if there's one.
Okay. Elderly man adopts overweight boy to replace dead wife.
It's up.
Yeah.
Up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, in the chat room. Up.
Up.
Okay, we need to watch more movies.
Apparently.
Because chat room and our guests are freaking amazing with bad descriptions.
I think Taken, not everybody had seen it, but that's pretty much it. I think we got a couple of hints, but that was about all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like 2, maybe.
Yeah.
That's great work.
Yeah. So I alluded to a happening there on Twitter with Jimmy about asking Maddie about make sure you don't accidentally power off your laptop in the middle of a demo.
Oh yes.
What happened?
So
who did that?
I was speaking at this amazing event in Las Vegas. You really need to go to it sometime. It's at the MGM Grand. Every couple of months, every 6 months or so in Las Vegas. You got to check it out sometime. And I was giving a presentation with that Maddie Montequilla, and we're talking about a Blazor hybrid, right? A Blazor with .NET Maui. We've got your chocolate and the peanut butter, and we put it together and we get a mobile app out of it. And Maddie's doing her thing, talking about how great Maui is, and cuts to me, and I give a demo showing from my laptop here, this, that, the other thing. We go back to Maddie, and she's talking about this, that, the other, gives a little demo from her machine, then hands off to me to do a little bit of live coding, showing here's how to take a Blazor app and put it into Maui, and it runs. So I'm doing this demoing with .NET Maui on my Linux laptop, and I'm running Maui on Linux, and we're going to deploy to a Android emulator. We get things going, and I'm typing, and okay, here it is. Now look, I'm going to show you the definition for this actually goes through to Blazor, but I'm in VS Code, and I'm on a Linux laptop. So the keystroke's not exactly the same as on Windows where I'm comfortable. So I hit what I think is Control F12, but it's not Control. It's Function. And Function F12 on that laptop is the power button.
No.
That's awesome.
Fortunately, it just went to sleep.
Oh, okay. So
and Maddie's like, I can't believe you just did that, and starts busting up laughing. Turned it back on, and everything comes up, and we're good to go. So we're going through it. I'm showing, and we're talking about, well, here, look at this other thing, and we're looking at whatever. Oh, yeah, let me show you the definition of that thing. Control F12.
No.
She literally had to hide behind the podium. She was laughing so hard.
You broke Maddie.
I actually shut it off that time.
Oh,
Oh.
At which point the audience roars. Fortunately, I had a backup machine that was a Windows machine. I went over and started powering that up, getting it configured. And as it's cloning and getting started, I take a step out in front of the podium and said to the audience, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas."
Nice.
And
Until
every
you
time
just told it on stream.
who would do that?
nobody.
So now whenever Maddie and I give demos, did you accidentally turn the machine off over there? Everything stay up this time?
Yet so far.
So far so good. So that was my fun.
Really good one.
And I haven't given a presentation since. Coincidence?
Yeah. Strange.
Was it recorded? No, it was not.
No, because someone closed down the computer that was recording.
Yeah.
So. I mean, we have
reason.
had live streams where people accidentally turn off the whole live stream because they need to reboot the web browser, and
right.
that's where the stream lives.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Was it
big
Jimmy?
on.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a guest. That's why I didn't point at Jimmy.
Right.
I have no problem giving him the blame.
You know how to point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Dee Dee!
Yeah.
I feel like we never really had the astronaut diaper conversation. Yeah.
What is
When
it
in
with these
Florida?
3 hours?
That was last New Year's stream we did.
Yeah.
It took 5 minutes, and we were talking about 2-week underwear and astronaut diapers, and yeah,
As you do.
as you do. Opportunity missed. Yeah, we need to revisit that. I think. I said we need to brand that. Isn't that something for progress you can give out at conferences? Oh,
go.
you don't need to take breaks.
Right.
Where are
You can
these
just
2-week
coding
candies?
And
Yeah.
coding and coding.
Bathroom line too long at the show? We have a solution.
Come to our booth.
there's a joke between progress and depends. We could mash up.
Oh yeah. No, it's
Get your depends at the progress bar.
right. There you go. Come to the
Nice.
progress bar. And then you can really play. I don't know, when we were in college, there was a bar that did penny till you pee. And so you didn't, you paid a penny for every drink until the first person left to go to the bathroom. And you never wanted to be that person.
You wanted to be that person. Yeah.
Right. But that
Oh
was
my gosh.
pre-depends. I think there would be.
Yeah. No, there are
So
lines.
the chat room is talking about an adult farting party.
Oh my god!
What?
This escalated quickly. What kind of parties do you go to?
And I like how it's an adult farting party because there are other kinds of farting parties.
No, that's just a kids party.
Clearly.
Ah, okay.
There will
got
be
it.
Well,
farts.
Got it.
In Texas, that's called a barbecue.
Nice. That's why they always prefer.
You have the
prefer wood as
protection with the
fuel.
diaper. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
These things happen. It's all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we got the same in Virginia. That's called a barbecue. From the chat room. So apparently it's a thing.
It's a thing.
We just
Absolutely.
didn't know. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, those beans have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Dee Dee's moving to Virginia.
And you were in my neck of the woods here in November, weren't you?
Yeah, we were.
So
And we crossed paths.
But
Because
again,
you weren't.
For
no.
what it's worth, it's not just Virginia or Texas. You can have farts all over the world. I mean, France. Let's see, what is France? France is number 1. So there are sounds to go along with.
Are
the
we
different
doing
kinds.
this?
No, we don't have to. But I mean, it's Japan, Switzerland, Australia, Mexico.
I'm glad you keep that in your reference library, so it's at your touch as soon as you need it. It's like comes up often, does it? It's like, oh, you need. Yeah, let me help you with that.
I like how serious you were. Well, we have friends.
Let me keep
friends.
my reference library. I have, yeah.
I have
is-
the Blazing
I think-
Saddles clips. I do have them available.
Mhm.
I think this crossed some kind of fun borders. I don't know.
We're over the poop line
What?
now. Well, there's,
No.
there's
Oh,
separate
you mean you're
conversation.
overwhelmed? You
Yeah,
don't know,
I
so
don't
you're
know.
shutting down?
I have no words.
Here, have a raccoon.
Aw.
Thank you.
It'll make it better.
So I was actually hoping that Jeff would go all in.
Farting?
Yeah. Now when you mention it, well, I was hoping you could go all in squirrel or something like that. But I want to show you my
Oh, the
one
Christmas
of my
gift.
Christmas gifts. Because why not?
Aw.
There you go.
But wait, it gets better.
Yes. Yes. There you go.
That is
I mean, this-
amazing.
Do you remember the Nabaz tag? You know, the little it was a little electronic bunny with the moving
Yeah,
ears.
yeah,
Like if
I remember.
we get some
Yeah.
IoT into those valves there, so that as he's doing the build, the ears move to. Just saying.
This must be done.
This
Yeah.
must be done.
Have at it.
Yeah.
Someone is asking in the chat room, how many channel points do I need to redeem to get Jeff to fart on stream? This has taken a turn. This has
Currently zero.
definitely.
It's been a half hour. It's inevitable at this point. It's already happened. You didn't notice.
Also,
call that
Jimmy, you look
delusion.
20 with that.
I mean, David Orr now has the pants cam.
Yeah.
Jeff could have a fart mic.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
go.
Oh,
No,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
no, no, no.
Well, they're pooling their funds now.
I am. I
no
am
more
trying,
dyeing your beard.
Yeah. No.
I am
Next
trying to
one is
raise money for a computer classroom we're putting together for the kids at St. Jude.
There you go.
It's for the kids.
No
Jeff.
more
It's for the kids.
dyeing.
I just love how you hand that money over and they, oh, how did you come up with all this money? Well,
I farted
Yes.
on stream.
Yeah, various challenges.
I was asked to fart.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
No,
It's a dark
no,
place.
no.
So Jeff, Jimmy showed his hat. The did you ever put on the butterfly costume, or was it? There's
No,
way
that
I
was
could
too.
fit, right? Yeah. Did you
No.
guys hear this story? So Dee Dee and I have
No.
been sending Jeff costumes randomly for probably 3+ years now.
As you do.
As one does.
Actually, I got the reminder photo yesterday on Facebook. It's been 3 years since you received this squirrel costume picture.
But one time he was talking about something, and we decided he needed a butterfly costume for a Microsoft alumni stream, I think, right? And
Yeah,
And,
because it was the MSN butterfly, right?
right,
All right.
yeah. And so I
Ah.
I wear reading glasses, and I wasn't wearing those. It was Friday night. I had just poured myself a glass of wine. I'm like, I am going to get on my phone and I'm going to order Jeff a butterfly costume to be shipped to his house and arrive, in no time. Wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and it arrived. Two things: one, it's green, and Jeff uses a green screen, and
That's a problem.
This isn't real.
and two, I ordered a child size.
And Jeff is many things, and child size is not one of them.
Right. So that was our that was my costume fail for the last 3 years. But I think Dee Dee and I have made up for it in spades since then. So
A little bit. Oh yes, there is an inflatable flamingo costume that is waiting for the appropriate time to make its appearance.
When is the appropriate time to be a flamingo?
I
don't
think
know.
And you're
always.
not the only one,
Mhm.
Sarah.
Yeah.
There's been many purchases that arrived without my recollection of even ordering it.
Yeah, I think Dee
Speaking
Dee,
of
you're right. I
flamingos,
think
did you bring your hat?
No, it's
Michael
downstairs.
Oh
Dollars.
no.
Dee Dee asked if it was Michael Jolly who started the whole thing. He said something, and we were talking about we wanted to do a live stream from the tree houses on campus, on the
Yes.
Microsoft campus, and we said that Jeff needed to be a squirrel, and he made the suggestion, and whammy, there we are. That was 3 years ago, and I think now Jeff has a chicken, a donkey, a squirrel, a flamingo, a
Cow.
returned butterfly. So
The
taco
cow is
hat.
in there.
Yeah.
The taco hat, yes.
Yeah. So
And I've also done the green screen Clippy costume.
right.
Oh right.
So
I have a giraffe one you can borrow.
Yeah, when do we start calling that Clippy costume ChatGPT?
yes, I'm waiting for that to happen. Right?
Mhm.
Like,
Clippy was way ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time. Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
I had a friend who had a favorite T-shirt that said "I'm huge in Japan" on it, and he loved that shirt. He wore it till it was a rag, till it was an embarrassing shirt to wear. And he worked with me on a project in New York, and for when this is in the Strange Loop era, and so the marketing manager of Strange Loop says, "Hey, what do we do for your friend? Should I get him a little card or something to so he and his wife can go out to dinner?" And like, how much budget you got? And, I don't know, a couple $100. It's like, leave it to me.
oh
Because
no.
I was going to replace his "I'm huge in Japan" T-shirt. So now I get online, I start searching for it. I find like 8 companies making "huge in Japan" T-shirts. I'm like, one of each. So, so a week or two later, he gets a "huge in Japan" T-shirt. He goes, "Oh, that was really nice of you. Thanks very much." The next day, 2 more arrive. It's like, haha, ooh, okay. And then 2 more arrive. And then eventually his wife's like, "Are you guys actually a couple? Because he's clearly buying you clothes." And he eventually, I think there was a dozen when we were all said and done. It
That's
arrived over
amazing.
weeks.
You should have gotten him the mini gummy sushi candies to go with it. Look at that! You're so big in Japan. The sushi's tiny.
Yeah. One of them had some Japanese characters on it that we presumed meant "I'm huge in Japan," but actually literally translated, I believe, as something like "I have a huge root."
Oh, no.
Anyway, he wore that one in Japan, then found out what it meant, and then wore it more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He's also the fellow who has always loathed the Clintons back before it was cool. And so I have had a gift drop copy of every single Clinton book sent to him.
That's very thoughtful.
Always, with a card that says "Thanks for your support." So he literally has them all.
We had some friends who were happened to also be our neighbors. We had met them actually before we moved next door to them, but they did a lot of cruising on their boat, and they were on the boat for months at a time. And we took a picture. They were from Massachusetts, big Red Sox fans, and so we put a Yankees flag on their front door, as one does, as a good friends do. And we sent them pictures, and we thought they would find it funny. They're like, yeah, you guys just photoshopped that on there. We're like, no, it's actually on. They're like, that's actually on our door. They were so upset with us. They're like, get that off now.
Just a sign. Everything's fine.
Yeah, we posted them on Facebook, and they were none too pleased with us. So.
Oh well, I can make new friends. I'll go find some with some humor.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know. I think prank gifts are the best.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Right back in the Mondays days when I did a comedy podcast and I was the purveyor of bad toys. If my co-host had a really strong reaction to that toy, I would ship that toy to them. Inevitably. The more grotesque, the better. I think the one that hit the top, and I'm sad Dee Dee's gone because she'd love this one, but the one that would hit the top was the product called, and you can guess what this was about. The product was called Sphincterine.
Yes.
When he existed, I had a case shipped to Mark and Karen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Karen was utterly appalled that I'd even spelled the words. I'm like, they need to own this.
How can I
And
buy
Surly Dev
stock?
pulled up Haptic Cow. There's a classic toy from the Mondays era. And Haptic Cow is exactly what you think it is. Apparently, these days they're having problems with doctors being trained to do prostate exams. So apparently, there's now a haptic prostate.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You got to practice. You don't necessarily want to practice on people.
Yes.
There you go.
Wow.
But it's also, how do you put that on your resume? What is it you make for a living? Well, let me tell you. Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to in 2023 then?
We travel less.
Travel less?
I don't think you're on that
Yeah.
path, Richard.
I'm not saying I'm any good at it.
No? You've just been to 3. We've just been to 3 conferences, and I know you have a ton of traveling.
Yes. No, I'm completely failing at that. I mean, I've got to run to Orlando in a couple of days. I'll get back for a few days, then a wedding in New Zealand because weddings.
Oh.
And then come back from that and straight to the UK for sequel bits. Because going from New Zealand to the UK, what jet lag? What?
Well,
I don't know.
I think I'm looking up at 5 conferences between April and May.
Mhm.
Yeah. And literally they all landed on my desk within the last 2 weeks. It's like
Surprise!
okay. And a university in New Jersey asked me, "Hey, could you stop by and talk to us about C# on Friday?" I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm driving an hour into New Jersey and teaching a C# class on Friday." Like,
Nice.
Yeah.
so
Travel less, not working out.
No. Yeah, I'll be traveling a ton. I'm looking for. I love seeing people in person. I mean,
wait, hang on. There's traveling. I'm literally going into New Jersey. I'm going into Tennessee.
It is New Jersey, you know.
But I'm going to make a visit to Seattle. You two are crisscrossing continents. There is not a line of longitude that you don't know how to cross.
No, I'm on track to do my 100,000 miles before June again.
I don't know that it won't be 100,000 by June, but definitely on track for that again this year.
Yeah.
Between work travel and hockey travel, I am.
Right.
I'm not ever home. Really.
Not all your travel is your own.
Yeah. Yes.
But I also stayed home for a year and a half for the first time in 20 something years, and that's the point where the wife looked at me and like, "Don't you have somewhere to go?" Although during the pandemic, we really couldn't go anywhere. Instead, what she said is, "I'm going to go up to the coast place, and you should stay here." I can do that. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
So now that the rhythm's back and going again. Well, the funny one is she'd said, "Don't be away for 3 weeks unnecessarily." Like, that's a long time. So I did the show in the UK. Then I came home for 5 days to do the show, then go back to Sweden. But it took me 4 days to shake off the flipping jet lag. So by the 4th day, she's like, "Yeah, you probably should have just stayed over there." Like, I'm not a lot of fun when I'm that jet lag, am I? So,
Nobody is.
well, it's good. It's good to have her come to those conclusions rather than me just doing it arbitrarily. Because I live longer that way.
I go back to what was it? The second time that we were in Las Vegas after pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and it was December, and finally I got my wife to join us in Las
Right.
Vegas, and we weren't even through the first night there, and she's like, "We've got to do this more often." Like,
She had such a good time. She's a gas
Yeah.
to be with too.
why? What do you think
Yeah.
I've been trying to encourage you to
Yeah.
do here?
What do you think this was about exactly?
Do you think I just come out here because it's good work? It's
Yeah.
also fun.
It is a lot of fun.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I need to figure that out. And honestly, I'm trying to avoid New York and California right now.
Mm.
It's like because they have a new thing on us where if you travel, right, and you work in other states, you got to pay state income tax in those other
Wow.
states. So I don't want to be in New York because New York charges you income tax by the hour. Like
Oh.
That's amazing.
so if you have a changeover flight there and the taxing authority is keeping an eye on it, like, wait a sec, what do you mean I had a 2-hour layover at JFK and you're making me pay tax on those 2 hours? Yes. Like, so
That's very special.
I will not be going to California anytime soon.
Yeah.
Or New York. New Jersey, I can make do with New Jersey because they have an exchange with Pennsylvania. New York,
Oh, wow.
sorry.
They have an exchange.
So they pay each other because it's
So it's
Right
a net
across.
It's the
reconciliation.
same country.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the United States. Their states are a little weird compared to any other country.
Yeah, right. And this is what pro athletes go through.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
right when a pro athlete flies and lands in whatever city, they try to arrive as close to before the game as possible and
Right.
leave as soon as possible, as soon as the game is over. So they aren't paying to be in that city.
Yeah,
So
Interesting.
that is an interesting one.
it's vicious. So Tennessee, Washington, Las Vegas, and Florida, I'll be there all the time because there's no income tax.
Yeah,
You're right.
Delaware is another one. You don't have any tax in Delaware,
Yeah.
but there aren't a lot of tech events in Delaware that I don't know that
We
I've
can
ever.
fix that. We can fix
I
that.
don't think you can, right? There's only like 4 houses in Delaware.
Right.
Where are we going to put a comp?
They have a wonderful casino in Dover, Delaware,
There you go.
right on the track, the NASCAR track, that is.
Oh, and they have the giant monster right there because it's the Monster Mile. So you have the
Monster Mile. Yeah.
you have the
I think I have a picture on my Facebook of me standing in front of the Monster Mile.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
every time we
Then-
would pass it. We
Then
were
again, you got to
like, "Yeah,
convince
that's the
people to
monster."
go to Delaware. I mean, problem one. First, you have to find it. Where's Delaware?
Yeah, right? A half hour south of Philadelphia.
There you go.
So, yeah. Or you could go to a indoor water park an hour north of Philadelphia. Who would do that?
That's the Poconos one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those
We were
crazy.
just there.
Yeah. No
Oh, yeah.
bad.
And
You guys do Code Mash? Was that the
Yes.
Code
Yes.
Mash one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the original water park conference back in the day.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I spent most of the time in bed because I got some kind of food poisoning or something.
Nice.
Mm.
That's Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah,
It's
Code
It's
Mash
like
is-
it's like I went to Cleveland and I got lost.
Well, you have, I mean, they have Code Mash was the original water park conference, but then you have
Mhm.
that conference in
Yeah, Wisconsin
Wisconsin
Dells. where it's still
Yeah.
1955.
Yep, and then you have Tech Bash in the Poconos, also at a
Poconos, yeah.
water park. I think those are
Wait,
the only.
wasn't it Tech
Uh,
Bash?
Might have been Tech Bash.
Yeah, I think
Tech
it
Bash
was
in the
Tech
Poconos,
Bash.
yeah.
I'm,
And then
yeah,
that
I'm-
that
think
conference
we're
is now doing
confusing
one in
the names.
Austin too.
In Austin, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
which I
just
think
did
is-
one 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
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 It's also another. They're literally following the Kalaharis around, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. I'm told the Kalahari actually calls them up and says, "Okay, we want to run a conference."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
we want to, well, geeks can fill a place.
It built that one in Sandusky. Built it.
I think they expanded the one in Wisconsin Dells too because of that conference.
Yeah.
The new convention center got massive.
It's funny, Tech Bash just hasn't caught on in New York City and folks aren't coming out for it.
Yeah, what do you got to do to get New Yorkers to leave New York? It's just not a thing.
They don't have cars.
Yeah, right.
You need to give them a bus. You need to give them a subway to get there. Like,
Yeah, take a train to some point and then shuttle up the rest of the way.
mhm.
And it's a fair
Mhm.
point.
So-
One of the things Sweta gave us transit passes because the transit system in Stockholm is outstanding.
Yes.
It's also largely underground, so you won't actually freeze to death in the process, which I find a feature.
Yeah.
That's a benefit.
See, we think of everything. Oh, well, we
try
try.
to.
We try.
You try.
We try.
5-minute walk from the hotel into the underground. Now you're safe. And they put the sign still in the warm space, not up on the platform, so you can actually see, okay, the train's a minute away. Now you can go
That is very
upstairs, risks frostbite, and then get in the train, and you're all right.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that there needs to be Svetog branded hand warmers that you can shake and put in your mittens and
Yeah.
stay warm there in
Yeah.
January.
It's not a
Or you
bad
can do
call,
that, yeah.
especially for folks coming from parts of the U.S. or other places where it's just not that cold.
Yeah.
Now, the Australians all have this terribly shocked look on their face, like, "How? What is
Yeah.
this? How does this work?
We
How do you
we
people stay alive?"
had a hockey tournament in New Jersey, just outside of New York, the weekend where there was the coldest weather here in the States.
Mm.
So imagine taking a team of 15 Floridian girls. So you have family, we had about 40 people, maybe not quite that many, maybe 30, descending upon New Jersey when it's 12 degrees outside.
Right.
And the girls decided some of the girls had never been to the city before. And I said to Sammy, so we took a group of 19 into Manhattan on a Saturday night when it was 12 degrees outside. And
12 Fahrenheit. Let's to be
12
clear, 12
Fahrenheit,
Fahrenheit, not
apologize,
Celsius.
Yeah,
The
Fahrenheit.
measurement of the oppresses.
Yeah, and I said to Sammy, I'm like, you sure you want to go? We've been to New York City before. I said, it's going to be awfully cold. She's like,
Yeah.
no, I want to go. The girls had a great time, but it is pretty funny to see that many.
Well, and depending on what corner you go around in New York, you are assaulted by a wind.
1,000%. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. There was at one point we turned and they were like, the girls were blown backwards. And,
Yeah, and,
but I have
their
this thing that I
flesh
take.
stripped off of them.
I have this thing that I take to, and you could get this branded if you wanted to, but I take it to hockey games, and it's a hand warmer, and it's battery powered, and it's like a stone that sits in my pocket and keeps my hands warm. I actually let Sammy's boyfriend use it. He was reffing some games. It gets warm enough that he put it in his pocket with an extra puck, and it melted the puck. So
Melted a hockey puck.
I love it.
Yeah.
They're meant
Nice.
to stay cold.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Sweden's into these things, but certainly up here, especially curlers, they do the thing called hot shots, which are little crackable packages that get hot for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you stick them in your
We have
boots
them.
and things like that's what you hand out to the speakers. It's like, listen,
Yeah, but-
you're in Sweden in
That's not
February
a bad
and you're
idea.
underdressed.
Right.
Because bought in bulk, they're cheap. I mean, 2 at a time
Yes.
at a gas station, you spend a lot for them, but you
Yeah,
get a case of those
get
from
hot hands
Costco.
here in the States.
Yep.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But hockey pucks aren't made of chocolate.
No.
No, I mean,
I think got warm.
that thing gets warm, and like you said, because he asked if I had any hot hands, and I said no. I said, but I have this. I said, feel free to take it. And I asked him because he was reffing all day long, and I asked him, I'm like, how was it? He's like, kept my hands warm. He's like, but note to self, don't set it. I mean, I guess it was sitting on the warmer was sitting on the spare puck for quite a while, long enough that it melted some of the rubber. So
Wow.
it's pretty impressive.
Ruin the puck.
Wow.
It also
Unreal.
makes me a little nervous to, I'm like, I don't want
Yeah.
to, have it
Careful what
explode.
you
or-
leave that on.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a point back a couple years ago in my first 2 years I was working with Microsoft, and I had a Surface Pro 3 as my travel machine, right? The old tablet, nice type cover and all that, and I was using that go and speak at conferences, and I was giving 2 talks back to back, one in Brooklyn and another one in Boston. And so I went to Brooklyn, I gave the talk, and I'm using the Surface Pro. No problem. There it is. Give the talk. Come off stage. Throw it in my bag. Get on the plane to fly to Boston because the train had to go all the way around and it was going to be a mess. So get on a quick plane to Boston, and I get to Boston, and the MacBook Air that I brought with me, so that I could give demos of how to use Apple with .NET Core and all this stuff. I go to power it up, and it's just not working. Nothing's coming up.
Seems to be a
So
trend with you.
I rerouted and it redid my session, so I wasn't focused on the Mac, but giving it from Surface Pro, everything went fine. I get home, I take the Mac over to the local Apple store. I said, something's happening, it's not booting up. they go and they hook it up to the sensor stuff. They said, oh, the temperature sensor flipped on this. It's overheated. So we'll replace that for you. It's still under warranty. The Surface Pro melted down the MacBook Air in my backpack is what happened.
Was this a vengeance move?
Might be.
But remember,
My enemy is upon me.
but
Bring
remember
forth
when,
the intel. We will kill them all.
remember Windows 8 and Windows 10 had the hot bag problem?
Yeah, yeah.
It melted down my Mac.
Nice. And it was fine. It's used to being that warm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sunny here in Surface Pro land. What are you,
Yeah.
aluminum Mac? Ha! Yeah.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Vengeance taken upon hardware. I used to, well, this is the same office where I used to do a lot of the water cooling back before good phase change coolers and things like that. And so I'd buy my components and I'd buy them based on, I could get a water jacket for them. And most of the stuff at that time, it was a Novatech. You had to get it from West Germany. So I got a pair of 6850 NVIDIAs that I was going to connect up shared maximum frame rate. I think we were playing Team Fortress back then.
Oh, okay.
Back when
Yeah.
it's long enough ago.
SLI.
I had reflexes. So I put on these. I just screwed up the math for how hot those the GPUs would get. So I put water jackets on them. Put a water jacket on the processor. That one had an interior cooling loop. I didn't have enough radiator on it with a fan and stuff. All temperature controlled. Loaded up with a couple of cups of water. Get it running. Start playing Fortress. Full on. Oh, and I had put at the time I had the Novatech controller, so it actually had an LED display that would tell me the temperature. So I don't know if it was just like a sixth sense or the heat was actually radiating off the back of my neck. But I stop at one point, I turn around, and the temperature for the water loop is at 95 centigrade. and I literally had a moment to go, wow, it's still running. And then so it had
You took it to the boiling point.
Yeah. And it was a sealed loop too. So it was pressurized. It melted the seals out of the water jackets. And these seals then dripped down onto the motherboard. I had stalactites on my motherboard from the bits and pieces of the seals. So it cooked off the board. It cooked both the video cards.
Unreal.
I got them all replaced under warranty.
Yes.
Mostly because I couldn't figure out what I'd done to it, right? Like I took off the water jackets. They were ruined. Like I had to redo seals on all of those. But I'm looking at this motherboard. It's like, this motherboard doesn't look right, but nobody can figure out what I did to it. So I just sort of said, hey, this motherboard stopped working. They're like, yeah, here's another one. All right, thanks very much.
Nice.
And then I did the math and I'd figured out that each GPU generated more heat than the CPU. And so I was like under the radiator by 75%. So when I got the new parts in and I rebuilt the thing, I had to go to an external radiator that heated the room at full bore. But the main thing is you went from like 300 mils of water to 1.5 liters of water. So you just had a lot more medium to move the heat around in. So that one wouldn't melt down. And it's a good burn in. We just don't do that complicated stuff anymore. It's not needed, right? And I wanted my machines to be cool and quiet. I was making podcasts back in the day. I don't know if you've heard of them, but yeah, today all the modern coolers are phase change coolers. So they have the ones with the copper pipes that go up into the radiator block. So there's a liquid inside those pipes, and that liquid evaporating is what lifts the heat, and then it runs up the pipes, cools down, comes back down, and so it's basically like water cooling except sealed and no pumps. Yeah. Far better solution. Now you just do that stuff in your computer because you want to have more LEDs.
I'm not water cooled over here. When the fans turn on, like, it can get loud.
You know about it, yeah. And it's not like I didn't have fans in the water cooling. It's just that it took a long time for it to get hot enough to actually need fans. And it went one point when I built this office, we actually put plumbing in the walls so that I had a 10-gallon reservoir outside and then we had a gravity loop for the water, and then a pump through the machine back up again. And so that never got too hot. In fact, I actually had to put an aquarium heater in the reservoir so it wouldn't freeze.
So what for you?
Yeah, I had a minimum temperature I needed to keep it at, but it never got. I had plans to put a radiator loop on the reservoir, and I just waited to see how hot the water would get, and it never got hot enough. It's just, if you pump enough mass of liquid around, the problem is solved.
No problem.
Then when the flood in 2015 occurred, there was no reason to maintain all that stuff, so I had it all cut out and rearranged, and no more. I literally had gotten set up water cooling as a service in this office. Right, there were taps on the wall that you could plug snap pipes into to plug in your machine. So setting up a workstation in my office meant putting the water cooling connectors onto it, and you could loop it.
So I'm assuming you've seen Linus Sebastian ran a water cooling loop under his new pool.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's a Vancouverite too. Like, we're all nuts up here, right? Like, it's a thing.
A little bit.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I did put water loops. I did put pipe work under my driveway to do a heated driveway.
Okay.
I never put the boiler and stuff in. It's not technically legal. So we sort of buried it so it passed inspection and so forth. And then it's like, well, we'll put the pump and stuff in. Now, the upside to actually planning for not needing to shovel your drive is it just didn't snow for 6 years, right? So I'm basically telling my neighbors, hey, now that I've paid for a water loop, you guys don't have to shovel snow. You can thank me later. Right?
Yes.
I changed the line. But if I was smart, I could have routed those pipes over. And it's like, no. I have 1,000 square feet of cooling for my computers now.
Yeah.
But then you need a pretty big pump. That's just a lot of liquid to move around.
Right.
It's not needed anymore, for the most part. And I'm not playing FPSs. Like, I don't have the reflexes for that.
It's unreal how folks are able to respond and play that. And what I find interesting is they play it at low resolution.
Yeah.
So that it
Maximum
renders
frame.
faster.
Yeah. And often takes out a lot of the detail work. So your camouflage and hiding behind a tree and stuff doesn't work because all that stuff isn't rendered in at minimum resolution.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheating. And and that's the point where it's like you're playing this game more to win than to enjoy.
Yes.
Right. Like that's your main emphasis. Yeah, I ain't get the time.
No.
No. I like when Kerbal Space Program gives me vertigo because I'm doing a repair on a ship in an EVA and the sun comes up and you have that moment where you're like, I am hanging in space on my 4K screen, cranked. That's a great gaming moment.
That's
for
intense.
Me. Yeah.
I was playing, so I'm a big fan of the game Myst from back in the day. And they released it for the Oculus Quest headsets.
Oh, good.
And at day one it came out, I went and got it, and I turned on all the VR virtual reality stuff, and it's pretty much like the first person version of Myst that they released years ago, but they reformatted it so it works on the headset. Oh my gosh, I got so sick looking over the edges in the scenes where you're in the trees and you're walking around up there, just looking over. I'm like, whoa,
a little too realistic.
Like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. The funding for VR and AR has clearly been cut everywhere.
Yeah.
I think and part of that is I think they're doubling down on the large language models. So that's the current focus of spend. But I've been doing that next decade of software development, saying, hey, I expect AR to replace the phone in the next 10 years. And here are all the projects that sort of support this idea. But every single one of those projects got a big old funding cut the first half of this year.
Looking at it from the outside and taking a wild guess, it feels like we're waiting for the display hardware to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, there's better and better gear. They never did ship HoloLens 3, and there should be a HoloLens 4 by now. So they're 4 or 5 TikToks behind.
Yes.
I think the U.S. Army deeply distracted the HoloLens team to no ultimate benefit, it appears. And now the team's dismantled, so I don't know, what's going to happen there. But it's universal. Sony's postponed their new headset. Apple said do not expect any AR announcements for another 18 months. pretty much everyone has just pulled back. And I think it's until somebody, part of me's always wondered, will any of the incumbents disrupt their own markets, or is this going to come out of left field?
Any word on Oculus? They did the Meta Quest Pro, whatever, the
Yeah.
Oculus folks.
Well, I
is
think-
there a V next that they're working on? I gotta
Well,
imagine.
Carmack has left in a huff,
Mm,
which is not good. That is
No.
that is the Oculus visionary, right?
yeah.
And Meta has blown through a tremendous amount of money. I mean, they talk about how much value Elon's destroyed. How much value is Zuck destroyed? That was $1 trillion company a year and a half ago, and
Yeah.
what's its current valuation? $300 million. That's a Harvard Business School study for you.
Yeah.
But and I also get that Facebook needed to retool anyway. This all Apple's ID tag and the anti-ad thing, and the general sentiment of the industry to get away from this ad. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's penetrated the gestalt now, and so Zuck wasn't wrong that his business is built on an ad model that's dying, and the fact that what's her name left. And she created it in the first place. It's all sort of signs of we need to revamp. So he went for it, and if he'd been right and succeeded, he'd be now a visionary.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just no legs. Right? Like what they made. Well, the problem is I don't think you can lead in a platform with social media. Social media is a residual product to a product.
It's boot time.
Please and legs.
Yeah. So I just don't. I think it was a mistake. You need a business space first, and it's a great mental experiment to say what is the information workers' use of 3D. Because you can always find vertical uses, but find an information worker's use of 3D.
So I hear you, but in my mind, coming from streaming, the entertainment angle is going for folks that have disposable income. They will spend whatever to have more fun. Now, I'm gonna caveat this by saying I have no insight into any of the business dealings of Microsoft or Facebook. In my mind, Meta made a mistake not being the ones to buy Activision. In my mind, the Meta Quest headset with World of Warcraft, the MMO, all these other things that they've been trying to do to create the metaverse. Well, donkey, you had 10 million subscribers sitting there that if you could put that on the Oculus Quest headset, you literally have Ready Player One already baked, already made, and people are already playing it. And to tell somebody who's already paying $10 a month to play World of Warcraft, hey, if you spend $200, you can actually walk around and play as this.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how many people are you going to lose? Right.
If you're still able to play it on the PCs and all that, to bring the MMO onto those headsets, even if
I like your thinking the point of view. Like I know that World of Warcraft was already losing players to mostly Final Fantasy.
They were
that's king, and so although their recent revamp, the unification of the two stacks, like all of the stuff they've done, has substantially lowered their cost and arguably made their gameplay better.
Oh yeah,
so, that.
But starting with World of Warcraft and looking at the other first-person shooters that they have from Activision,
yeah.
Oh,
but this thing has the network effect problem. There's not enough headsets, so you can't spend enough to make a great game on it. And until we have a game so good, it's like, dude, you have to get the headset. And so this is a chicken and the egg problem, and somebody has to make a chicken.
Yes,
you've got to take $100 million 2-year bet on making a title so good that you have to own the headset.
I look at the Metroid Prime games, right? First person playing as Samus Aran. on the Nintendo devices would be amazing on the MetaQuest.
The problem is that any running,
If I can
jumping,
build
moving
Lego,
game,
I'm fine.
you'd be happy.
What happened to the Minecraft demos?
Yeah.
Remember the Minecraft demos with the HoloLens?
Yeah.
But every single time you have a moving game, you make people nauseous.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And so we think about the games that are compelling on the headset. The one thing you notice in common across all of them is you don't move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beat Saber.
Yeah.
Right. The one game you can play for hours. Why? Because you don't move. The world moves around you. As the moment you move, you have these problems. And so we really have to think about a different style of gameplay.
It took me a while to get to play Myst in the headset and be able to walk around and handle that. I was only able to play for 5-10 minutes at a time, but I got to a point with that where I played for a half hour at a time, and even then,
exhausting.
You have to stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think we get away from the walking. Another game developer friend of mine reminded me. You understand, in a game like Call of Duty, when you're running at 30 miles an hour because players are impatient. And so if I dial, that's why you're so nauseated. If I dial that down, then you're bored and nauseated. So it makes me wonder if you shouldn't have a game where it's more a teleport game. Where imagine you have this skill where you can move to any point that you can see. But the teleport effect means you're no longer nauseated because you don't have motion effect. But you get to change your perch, your positioning routinely. And then the next problem you get is the Alex game problem. Right? You remember when they made a version of Half-Life specifically with a headset called Alex?
I remember it, never played it.
Well, the funny part is, the nice thing about a normal video game on a screen is there's a cinematography effect to it. The screen sets the frame. As soon as you're in a 3D space, you're looking somewhere else, which means that most of the time, the character Alex in the game was basically telling you where to look. Because you were never looking in the right place. Because that's how storytelling works, right?
Yeah.
Give some love to the cinematographer. How you frame a view is important. And suddenly we took that restriction away, and you're never looking in the right place. And so that I play this game for a while, like, all this chick's doing is pointing at stuff and saying, look over here. And they had written it well enough that when you look the wrong way, directionally her voice was in the right location, but she got more frantic the further away you got, right? It was literally like Marco Polo until you finally looked, and he would stop talking once you were looking in the right place.
Yeah. Very cool.
But and he speaks to defunding all of that stuff because we've yet to find the killer use case.
Yes.
While we spend on these language models and this new version of machine learning that may or may not pay out some value, but they have better metaphors.
They do.
I really like the concept of goal-driven task work. Like, it actually might even sell into the modern workspace. You imagine an information worker who's now using a ChatGPT-like interface, describing their work items, and now the software is pulling up that tool is pulling up the right software to achieve the task. Right. But there's another layer, which is cool because suddenly it's like, hey, this makes sense in Windows because Windows has access to all this different software. And now essentially that tool is selecting the tools you can use to be successful with this stuff. But look at it from a management perspective. You've got all these managers that are struggling with, how do I understand what my work from home people are doing? It's like, why don't you look at their conversations with their machines? Because the machine now is the assistant you're describing the tasks to.
Yeah.
So we're finally going to get the real Cortana.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just hope they don't use that name because I think it's the Halo
tainted
reference isn't a good name. I think it's not beneficial. Better Clippy, honestly.
Thanks for good sis though. Yeah, that is true.
Well, friends, I loved spending this afternoon with you, and Valentine's Day should always be spent with awesome friends.
Absolutely.
I actually have to drop out, and I apologize for that, but thank you so much for having me. I Loved it. Can't wait to see you guys all in person again.
I'm
Hopefully
disappointed we
sometime
only got
soon.
5 boot viewings. Like,
I know. I can do
2
one more,
hours. You
just
are a
one for
model of
good measure.
restraint. There we go. 6.
One more for the road. Yeah.
Well, I told you at some point I'll spin around. I haven't, I have to perfect that. There you go.
Yeah, don't do any other foot in the process, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's been awesome chatting with you guys. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Sarah.
much, Jimmy and Jessica, for having
Thank you
Yeah.
for joining.
Thank you.
friends. And yeah, and
This was a lot of fun.
awesome. It was great chatting with people in chat as well. So anyway, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day.
See you, Sarah.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
See ya.
See you.
Bye.
On that note, maybe we should go celebrate Valentine's.
There you
And have
go.
some dinner.
So thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
it was
and
amazing.
Thank you all the viewers.
Yeah,
Oh,
awesome chat room. I'm very
Oh,
good
yeah.
with the trivia.
Great fun.
Yeah.
Good game.
You
Yeah,
were
very good.
Kicking ass with this trivia.
Yeah.
So with that, on that note, I guess
Yeah.
happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and
and-
let's
On that
meet up
bombshell.
next year.
Yeah, let's try for New Year's
Bye.
next year.
Yeah.
yeah, let's do
let's
that.
do
See
it.
you, friends.
Take care. Thank you for joining.
We'll see you.